Hey guys, Marshmallow Duelist here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today we're going to be discussing in what is, in my opinion, the absolute single-handed best Kashtira card. Now, sure, this is going to be a hot take out the gate, but hopefully with my explanation, reasoning, and some pointers that I give, you may believe it's at least better than you first came into this video thinking. So Kashtira Ogre, it was one of the very first Kashtiras that came out in Darkwing Blast alongside Unicorn and Fenrir, which are both considered the best Kashtiras. And now, alongside that, a Rise Heart is considered pretty good. Of course, we got Shangri-La that came out with Ogre as well. And this deck was, in its Darkwing Blast stages, not the best. And this is when I liked it. I liked it because it had its flaws. It wasn't too strong. It also wasn't that expensive at the time because I got my Fenris pretty easily from packs. So the rest of the deck was super cheap for me, and you could get things like Fenris for like 10 quid very early on. So the deck was cheap, and that's why I liked it. It was a nice budget deck that had a really fun concept behind it. However, Kashtira Ogre was one of the cards that didn't see play as much, if at all. We had our Astral Kribos, our Side Beasts, our Unicorns that searched Birth, and our Fenris that did some great removal, going into Shangri-La that kept bringing out more Unicorns, more Fenris. So why not Ogre? Well, Fenrir could search a Kashtira monster, Unicorn could search a Kashtira spell, Ogre could search a Kashtira trap. Now, at the time, we only had Kashtira preparations, which I think is honestly a really good and also underrated card, but these were both commons for a reason. They weren't the best. And yet, I found myself using Kashtira preparations quite a bit. Again, underrated, so I think these two had a bit, well, not enough love. And I found that a lot of people still did run one preparations in those early days, which means that, you know, Ogre's Search, although not the best, was still useful, helped extend the combo. And even now with Photon Hypernova, we've had another Kashtira trap printed called Kashtira Big Bang. And this trap does have an effect, not like most traps, it has to be banished to get its best effect. Yet it is a trap that can still be searched, helps deck thin, removes a brick, gets it into your hand so you know where it is, so you can banish it from your hand for a cost or anything like that. It does help. Ogre does help. And although not the best way, it's a useful one. Now, so far, I'm just saying that Ogre is not the best. It's alright. You should still use it. Now, let me explain why he's the best. So this fella right here, cheeky chat, what he does, he searches a trap, right? Now, all the Kashtiras, or the original three at least, have an effect, where when they are attacking or an opponent's effect monster uses their effect, they can chain their effect and basically do something different. So Unicorn, I would say, has the best, as it can banish face down a monster in your opponent's extra deck. It gives you extra deck knowledge, and it can remove either a pivotal piece in their combo or their end tower monster, depending on what deck you go for. So say they're going in Ignista, you're going to get rid of their Arrival Cyverse or their access code, right? However, if it's Dragon Link, you might get rid of their Striker Dragon or something like that. So that's really good. Kashtira Fenrir just straight up banishes a monster face down on the field. Again, great. Ogre is a mini Yatagarasu. Really nice. I honestly think this one is better than Fenrir's. It looks at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, you banish one face down, and then they go back on the deck in the same order. So the reason people aren't doing this too well is because they're just looking at the top 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, they see Change of Heart and they think, oh crap, that's going to be painful, and get rid of it, right? Well, that Change of Heart might have been the third, fourth, fifth card in, you know? And your opponent was probably not going to get to that card immediately. So banishing that, sure, you got rid of Change of Heart, great. Good card to get rid of. But maybe their next card was a great combo starter or extender, or maybe their next card was a Dark Hole. Not quite as good in certain circumstances, but that was their next card. And that's what you have to think about. Because the cards are going back in the same order, 1, you get to see their deck, but 2, you get to decide what they draw into next. Say it's something really bad as their second card. Say, I don't know, their first card is a Vision Hero Faris, and their second card is a Destiny Hero Malicious. You know, you don't want to be drawn into your Malicious, but their third card might be something like Lightning Storm. You don't want them having Lightning Storm, but you also, if they draw into a Malicious, they're kind of screwed. So you get rid of the Faris, so they draw into that Malicious. Or the Faris might not even be as good. It might just be a Destiny Hero Celestial or something, right? You get rid of that, so they draw into the Malicious, and they're trapped with a Malicious in their hand. So if you play the Ogre correctly, you can just force your opponent to brick, which in some circumstances is definitely better than Fenrir, but also sometimes better than Unicorn's effect. So that's one reason these super good. Not to mention, it also has the highest attack stat of all three. It has 2,800 on a level 7 body, which means it can go into all sorts of rank 7s, such as the obvious culprits for Kashtira being like Shangri-La, Arise Heart, Diablosis, Master of Blades, Titanic Moth. There's all sorts of rank 7s that are pretty good that it can go into. The Dark Arm Dragon one, that's a good one. So, you know, it can go into all of them. Now, what is really interesting is that a lot of people are opting to not play in Kashtira anymore, with a Rise Heart being which one? Yeah, you know, a Rise Heart, the main deck, level 4 one, right? I think I've got them mixed up, but oh well, you know what I mean, right? So the level 4 one brings itself out, becomes level 7. You've got a Fenrir that searched a monster. It could have even searched level 4. You've got 2 level 7s. Boom, Shangri-La. Ogre, he's going to search your Big Bang, whatever. He's helpful. You can get him with an extra normal summon, or if you activate Birth, you get to normal summon a level 7. Normal summon this fella. That's an extra level 7. Searches your trap, removes cards that are maybe not the best, or can get you preparations, which is more summons from hand and banished. That's great. Extra summons. This guy can net you. Where can he be used in other decks, though, that makes him stand out as sort of a rogue card, as well as a mainline Kashtira monster? This right here, Water Attribute, this makes him the best card, like hands down. Being over level 5 and water, I think if you guys know where I'm going, you're going to like this. Sea Stealth Attack, right? Sea Stealth Attack, anything that's level 5 or higher whilst Umi's on the field wins every battle regardless of stats, right? That's great. With a level 7 water, free summon, that's a free monster to bring on the board that works under Sea Stealth Attack, just destroying your opponent's monsters. Great. If you need to banish a card to protect your back row and a field spell with Sea Stealth Attack, Ogre's probably not going to be a fundamental piece to your combo. Get him out of there for a turn. You've saved all your back row. Bring him back. Absolute 2,800 threat. Mini Yatagarasu. It establishes control. It's a mini boss in water decks that just has so much presence for a free special summon. Like, run this guy at 1, okay? Run it at 1. You're going to see him occasionally. It's going to be a mini boss that puts so much pressure on your opponent, forces them to brick, has some massive stat lines to hit over monsters. If Sea Stealth attacks up, it's just going to be winning every battle, removing monsters. Again, it's not going to be fundamental to your combo, so banish it for Sea Stealth Attack for a turn. You're not going to be missing out. You're protecting your back row. Everything's great. And in, like, what decks run Sea Stealth Attack, right? Phantasm Spiral, Karyushin Control. What do these decks have in common? They have a lot of back row, so banishing it again to save your back row, that's great, extra bonus, cool. But also, they're not going to have all too many monsters. So a free extra mini-boss that just sits there, that goes from, I don't know, let's talk in terms of Karyushin, because I actually play that deck, so I know it a little more. You get your Karyushin, right? You've locked them into one monster. You've got your Jellyfish, so you've got a negate, right? They're just going to bring something out that can punch over, right? Or they're going to just force you to see stealth, and then you're going to be left with, like, just Karyushin. They beat over the Karyushin or something like that. Easy peasy. Now, with Ogre there, one, you can stop them getting the hands that are going to kill your board, but sure, they get rid of your Karyushin. Oh well, whatever. Ogre's here. They're not getting past Ogre 2. Ogre's too big for that. Whilst it's in your opponent's turn as well, you get to just keep Yatagarasu in them, more or less. Because, yeah, Yata stops them drawing, right? This stacks their draw, so you make them draw the brick or draw the worst card. That's why it's a mini Yata. It's not quite as good, but it's a lot easier. It happens a lot more often. and it's just on a better body, better stats, better level, better attribute, all around easier to use, just all around great. Not to mention its sidekick, there's some synergies there, not all too many, but some of the more old school sort of 5Ds era psychic support can be used somewhat well with the cards. You know, they can banish it, which then can be brought back with preparations, the trap that it can search. They can protect it, and I think they can just revive it as well. They're not great things, but they're things to keep in mind, things that can help out in various decks. Again, just add in more decks that can be splashed into, and it works well in. Honestly, Kashtira Ogre, best stats, one of the best effects to use in terms of interruptions. It forces your opponent to brick. You stack their deck, absolute champ. Great stats, works in C stealth attack, works in more decks than just Kashtira. Even if you're just going to put a Kashtira into other decks, try Ogre. Such a big body, such a big threat. It'll do wonders for you. Honestly, any deck can run this to some extent, and most decks should try it out. It's honestly such a strong card. And one of the most important factors in all of this, budget. Right? Kashtira Ogre, you can probably get them for free. If no one's offering them for free, so like you're not with some charitable friends or whatever, you know, you can probably pick it up for 10p or like 50p. It's not even going to cost you £1 or $1, whatever country you're using, €1, anything like that. It'll just be pennies, right? This guy's pennies. And for such a threat, such a mini boss that's a free special summon as long as your board's empty, that's great. Free summon, absolute ease of a slot in your deck. You're missing one card to fill out the slot. Ogre. One Ogre is all you need. It's great as side deck even. Along this and Pankratops, boom, you've got yourself a rank 7. It's good at going second. It's good at going first, honestly, as it can establish those effects whilst your opponents are using monster effects. Even if it gets killed instantly, right? They'll have probably used a monster effect whilst it's up. And you can look at this two ways, right? So if they use a monster effect whilst it's up on turn 1 and instantly get rid of it, you get to chain this effect, and boom, you stacked their deck. Cool. It's had usage before it's died. Sure, it's not been game-changing, but actually it could have. You could have stacked it, and their next turn is ruined. Their current turn, they can't OTK you. This Ogre could have won you the game there and then. Also, what if they have to use, I don't know, Lightning Storm, and they call monsters just to get rid of this Ogre, right? You've procced a Lightning Storm. You baited the Lightning Storm with just an Ogre. It maybe hits something else, but whatever. The Ogre will have been pressuring them into that choice. Your back row, if any, are all fine. And, I mean, put it this way. If they Lightning Storm and hit your Ogre because it was such a threat, and you don't have anything else to follow up with, and you lose, you were going to lose regardless, right? But if they Lightning Storm hit the Ogre because of the pressure you were applying, and you have like a Gozen set or something, or you have some things in hand to play, you can now win that duel with a lot more ease as they are down a board wipe. And it's not just Lightning Storm, right? It's things like Dark Hole. It's things like Mirror Jade's effect. It's things like Raigeki. Just anything that's removal that they're using on Ogre as opposed to one of your key combo pieces. That's great. Ogre's doing its job. It's putting a lot of pressure. It's forcing their strong power cards out. Maybe they change of heart it, right? It's forcing their power cards on Ogre. Ogre's probably not going to be a key piece, yet it's a free summon. So you're not losing out by playing it. You're not going minus in card advantage. But they are, because they're using it on just a silly little fella that you brought out for free that can stack their deck. It has high stats. It can get free kills. It can be banished for C stealth attack. All these things that it can be really strong under. I mean, hey, even in something like Sharks, right? If you're playing something like, I don't know, Legendary Ocean, watch this guy become level 6. Now, all the things that it can become, I don't know, off the top of my head, musical sumo dice games. Just an example of some other crazy decks that can just be thrown into and have some effect. So, honestly, guys, try out Kashtira Ogre. I genuinely think Kashtira Ogre is the best. It's common, it's cheap, it does the things that the other two first ones do, but better. I'd still say it's better than most of the Photon Hypernova ones. Scareclaw Kashtira, Tail Elements Kashtira, I don't really like them that much. Ogre, though, I just put this guy in every deck. Super strong and never really lets me down. Again, splashable into everything. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Ogre's good? Do you think I'm overhyping him? Do you think I missed something and there's a reason why it's bad? Like, obviously, I'm not saying take out your core engine for this guy, and I'm not saying like take out your power cards for it. But if you have the space, or if you don't have the power cards, or I don't know, you only have like 2 pot of extras and you can't afford another, you know, it's not going to be as good, sure, but whack in an ogre, see what it does for you. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.